Welcome to the Bowlers Union podcast. And today we have two special guests. We don't have one England bowler, we have two, Lauren Filer and Lauren Bell, joining Keith and I here. Thanks so much for joining us from the Holiday Inn in Taunton, which anyone who's played cricket knows of. How are you both doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're very good. Yeah.
Travel day. Bored.
It's really good to have you two on, and I hope you're enjoying yourself at the Holiday Inn. There's loads to do, as you know. I've got 5 quick fire questions for you both, and me and Chris have given a score of what we think you're both going to go for. So we'll be competing to see who gets it right and who gets it wrong.
Okay.
Right. So, swing or nip?
Nip.
What am I doing? Oh, I have to answer. Swing.
Nip.
Right. Pace or bounce?
Oh,
Yeah, both. Bounce.
bounce as well.
Oh,
I didn't.
Nick off or bowled?
Bold.
Oh, I quite like a nick off.
So opposite.
Back of the hand slowy or knuckleball?
Back
Back
of the
to
hand.
yeah.
Good bouncer or a good Yorker?
Good bouncer.
Oh. Yeah, good bouncer.
Oh, for God's sake!
That's killed me.
Oh,
I've
really?
got
You can't do that?
1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 6 right there, Chris.
Yeah, I think I've got 6 as well. I got the swing and the nip. I got the back of the handers. I got the nick off bowled, which is rogue, but then I got all the other stuff wrong. To be honest,
I'm shocked you both went good bouncer. I like it. I like you both went good
That's
bouncer.
not surprising for Lauren,
Yeah.
surely.
Yeah, but a lot of people kind of think, I'll play it safe and go for a good Yorker. I prefer to see a good bouncer hitting someone in the Swede, personally.
Yeah. And also, that's not playing it safe for me is bowling a bouncer.
fair enough. Fair enough. To be fair, I've watched both of some little wicket compilations on YouTube with you both. So I think I got back of the hander, especially feels like we're at school. Lauren B.
Me.
I've seen plenty of back of the hand slower ball stuff.
Yeah.
Seems like you've got that pretty naturally.
Yeah, that's a stock at the back end of an innings for me. Yeah.
To be fair, that makes me jealous. That's Keith and I often talk about. It's like the one ball I swear is the go. If you can bowl that and bowl quick like both of you, you're guaranteed a professional career. I swear.
Yeah, we said that. If you could get yours slowy,
Yeah,
that would.
it doesn't come as naturally to me, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm working on it. It's getting there. Every time I work on it, we then don't play for a while, and then I obviously just go back to doing sort of technical stuff.
Bowling really, really fast.
And then it's just boring. So then I just have to try and remember to be I need to practice slower balls.
To be fair, yeah, you've been out for a while now as well, haven't you, with a knee injury? How's that going now? Because obviously you saw you playing at Grace Road, the home of cricket, the other day. That went all right, but obviously it's been a bit of a journey, hasn't it, since the Australia tour?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one because I sort of had a scan just as I got back from Australia and it was all clear because I had an issue with it before South Africa. And then, a couple of weeks later, I just felt it again. And it wasn't even that bad. It's just sort of there and then sort of had it scanned and it'd come back. So, it was sort of about 6 to 8 weeks of rehab of sort of injections and all sorts. And, just building my strength up in my quads and getting going with sort of running again and bowling. And it was at an annoying time because I was going through a technical change with my run up. So I actually ended up just starting to do it. And then as we thought we got it, I could bowl for 6 weeks. So, or probably longer. So it was quite a frustrating time. So the last couple of weeks, I've almost had to try and implement that change whilst playing. Or pretty much playing. So, it's been tough, but I'm very happy to be back. It was great to be on the pitch yesterday.
I had a bit of a chuckle there because obviously I saw you at Loughborough in the winter working with Mace. And I mentioned to Keith earlier about Mace loves a run-up. That's his massive. He loves working on bowlers' run-ups. And you literally just said it there, and I'm like, oh, it's amazing. But it's good that you're back. Keith's a bit of a knee specialist as well, aren't you, Keith?
Yeah, I've had quite a few knee ups. So if you want to talk about knees, you know where I am. So I wanted to ask you both. How did you? A lot of people listen and want to know. How did you get started in cricket? What was your path?
Okay. I have an older sister who played like all the sports, like cricket, football, all of that. So I just kind of followed her. So she played cricket at like my local cricket club and at Berkshire. She would have been like 12, 13, and I would have been like 9 and 10. And she was at like Berkshire under 14s or whatever. And I just joined in and went along as the like little sister that wanted to join in, and then just I played at my local cricket club. My dad was like coaching and like all with boys. Like when I was younger, it was like the club was just boys. And then I played for Berkshire till I was like 16, and then I started Southern Vipers stuff, and that's when I moved down, like started doing stuff more in Hampshire. But I've only ever played for Berkshire. So
for those who are listening, that was Lauren Bell.
That was sorry.
Lauren Filer to give her answer.
Kind of similar. I wouldn't. So I have a twin sister, and we just moved closer to Western-super-Mare Cricket Club, and there was a letter that went around my primary school that just said there was an under-11 girls team getting made, and we just moved, and it's about 2-minute walks. We were like, oh, we might as well join. We sort of played football and stuff, so we were very like quite sporty kids. And then just from there went just on. Me and my sister both trialled for Somerset within a year and got into Somerset and played for Somerset until I was 18, and then similar to Belly, moved into sort of regional cricket with Western Storm, and then carried on from there.
That's cool. That's, to be fair, that's insane that you've got a twin. So you played in the same team together as twins? Yeah.
All the way up until pretty much when the Somerset's like the county structure sort of fell away within the women's game. Up until then, really, and up until about 18, and she was actually the pick of the bowler from about 12 until 16. I did not. No one cared if I was playing. Everyone just wanted Jodie to play because she bowled off spin. She'd get fifers all the time, and I'd pick up one wicket for 70 or something, and I just got picked because I was quick, and as I do now. But so it's
as do most people, to be fair.
So no, it was good there, and then I think once I got a little bit older, she sort of went on a different journey, and then I carried on with cricket.
That's amazing. And again, sorry, this is what Mace told me. He said that you basically were just working at Tesco, and then you basically got on the England team.
Your story is really funny.
Basically, well, kind of. So I'm trying to think. The first year of the 100, I was working in Tesco's, and I actually got sacked just after that 100 because I actually got sacked during the 100, but my parents didn't tell me because I just got a letter through the door saying you're gone. But it's because I didn't turn up. I told them I was playing cricket and I wasn't going to be able to come in, and they just sort of said they didn't want me to work there anymore because that was that. So so then about I think it may have been the year after was my first professional contract, and then 6 months later I made my England debut. So it was it was very quick and rushed, and I think within sort of 18 months it was. I went from Tesco's to test match debut.
It was so funny because like mine was so normal, and I remember we were at Bristol and Filer turned up to bowl like as a net bowler, and no one really knew who she was, and then she was bowling and we were like, who's this girl? Like she's rapid and like no one knows who she is. She's not playing, like you weren't really playing professional cricket. And
no, not really.
And then that would have been within a year. You played in the Ashes.
It
was just
it was very strange. That was I was playing for Western Storm at the time, but I hadn't had much of a go, and I'd actually just come off runs and wickets maybe like 2 days before, and I sort of went into that group. I knew one of the coaches, and they usually get quite young players to come in to bowl at us. So you wouldn't usually see someone my age coming in, but they sort of said, no, go on, like try. And then it was great. I bowled really well, and I think it was Lisa at the time just wanted me to keep bowling. And I was like, I'm really sorry, I've got workload, so I can't bowl anymore. But yeah, that was weird because then about a year later I was sort of in and around the team. So it all happened very quick, but it was cool.
I wouldn't be able to just leave it there. I've got sacked. I'd be like, now, if I was you, I'd be trying to get sponsorship by like Tesco. Little slogan from Tesco to Test cricket.
No.
Yeah, that's incredible. To be fair, and so yours, Lauren. Then I've
Which Lauren?
researched. Sorry, Lauren B.
Ellie, yeah.
You're also a footballer, like Keith.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was when I was younger. I played I played for Reading Academy, and I was like way more into football. Like young me would have wanted to be a footballer, and I was so way more into football. And then when I was playing for Reading Academy, but then I was also doing a bit more cricket, and then I think it just came apparent that I was better at cricket. But at about 16, I got like the KSL, like I signed my first like Southern Vipers like actual contract, and that was like a big deal, like because 16-year-old me was like, wow. So then I was like, hey, probably I'm better at cricket, and my parents were like, you have to choose now. So I stopped playing football. I remember I signed for Reading and was like in like October, and they were like, are you going to see the season through? Like, are you going to play? Like, obviously, like football academies are quite like that. And I was like, yeah, like no reason why I wouldn't. And then like a month later, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to pick cricket now. But yeah, I was a footballer. I reckon I would have wanted to be a footballer as like a young kid.
Fair play. No, fair play. Something I'm hoping you can help me out with, which I'm trying to work out, and this is, I guess, for both of you. But I've noticed Lauren Filer. So you're like a West Country girl, but you now play at Durham.
Yeah.
So how did that go about? Because I was coaching a little bit at rugby school in the winter, and a few of the girls were kind of. It felt like they were waiting to find out where they might be playing and stuff, in terms of the sort of rejig with the counties and things. So how come you've ended up literally you couldn't go any further, could you?
No, yeah, that is true. My mum keeps reminding me that as well. No, it was a lifestyle and a cricket change personally for me. Is I just wanted to sort of get away from where I'd always been, and not in a necessarily bad way at all. I think the way Durham spoke, especially Marcus North, the director up there, spoke about women's cricket and the way they wanted to implement women's cricket within Durham was like a really, really impressive sort of picture. And I think, unfortunately, Somerset didn't impress me as much on the way they spoke about it, whereas Durham were really. I remember going into the conversation because my agent sort of said to me, look, Durham are interested. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, obviously, I didn't really think it was going to be a thing because, like you say, it's miles away. Went into it thinking, oh, I'll just listen and sort of see what they have to say. But I'll probably come out and be like, no, I'll sign for Somerset because it's more convenient, really. And then actually I came out of the chat, and it was only a 10-minute chat, and I came out thinking, wow, I don't think I want to play for Somerset anymore. I want to play for Durham.
Right.
For me was like a big thing, and luckily I obviously got the choice as well. So I know some people obviously don't have that luxury, so it was sort of a couple of months of battling between my mind of obviously Somerset's in my heart, and that's where I've grown up playing cricket, and that's since I was 10. So it was a very, very hard decision for me to move because again all my friends are sort of in around the West Country. But they just impressed me, and I've still been impressed every time I go up there. They're always so supportive, especially of me and the way I'm sort of having to be in and out in the environment. They've just created such a special group, and I'm like pleased I made the move.
The good thing is it's cheap property up there if you ever think of buying, so that's a big plus.
I actually I'm in the process of buying ridiculous. A house, and it is, I love it. Especially knowing all these guys that live in London and Winchester and all this place. No, it's great.
So Lauren B now then. So you're obviously at Hampshire and you've played there, with the Southern Brave and stuff. were you all free agents, so to speak? Could anyone come in for anyone to try and get you to move, or was it?
Yeah, it's a bit. My situation was a bit different because I was essentially contracted, and I still am. So until November, it does change. I don't technically have to contract with anyone. I just say, oh, I'll play for Hampshire. But I don't have a contract with Hampshire. I just am centrally contracted. In November, it does change, and I will probably have to sign a contract with probably Hampshire. But yeah, mine was a bit simpler because it was a little bit more informal, and I knew that I was going to play for Hampshire, and I didn't really need to. I was just kept on going as I had done. I hadn't had a contract. I'd been England contracted. Still am. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So sorry. I feel like I'm asking you some probably silly questions here, but and then was there a little bit of a scramble for some of the women in the tier 2 teams to try and make up positions in the squads of the tier 1s, or?
I don't think it changed. The names changed. Obviously, it went from the regional names to that county names. But I think the core group of the teams are quite similar. People did make moves, I would say, but Southern Vipers is very similar to Hampshire. South East Stars is very similar to Surrey, but they've just changed names and become more in one place. But I think would you say on the whole?
Yeah,
there have been moves.
There's been a few, but not many. I would actually say there's been more people that have dropped down from tier 1 to tier 2 to their counties and probably get more of an opportunity. One of the big ones is Yorkshire. They've sort of kept quite a few of their players, and they've obviously got contracts with them. So when they do come up into tier 1, they've actually got a base of a team that have played technically tier 1 cricket before. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's many that have gone from tier 2 to tier 1. But I think there's going to have to be, because Glamorgan are getting added and obviously Yorkshire are getting added. And the pool of players in tier 1 probably isn't actually that significant. So the players that are standing out in tier 2 cricket will probably end up getting contracts in tier 1.
Right, I'm with you. Thanks for explaining all of that. I feel like I'm much better and up to speed.
With that in mind, how do you both think the women's game has developed over the last 4 or 5 years?
Okay. I think it's obviously developed a lot. I actually was saying to people, so obviously I did play the first part of the season, and I went and watched, because I'm a Badger, I went and watched a lot of cricket and sort of in and around, went and watched Durham and London and came down to Somerset and watched Somerset. And I said how much the standards changed, and I think you can even see that in the stats now. There's probably been more hundreds this season than there has in the last 3, in the space of a month of cricket. And I think that just goes to show the sort of having a base and having the structure, facilities and coaching, the good of the coaching, all just sort of makes the women's game grow. And I think that you can really, really see that this season. And I think it's only going to go higher and higher as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's how much of that's due to the 100 and stuff like that, or was that shift happening anyway? Because the 100 obviously, it seems like a great vibe. I'm not involved in it, and Keith, I think Keith's coached with you, hasn't he? Lauren B. But yeah, that seems like an amazing kind of atmosphere that's going on. Is that the sole thing, or is it already on that upward trajectory?
I think it's definitely part of it, and definitely when the 100 started, I think it massively progressed women's cricket, because it was it's crazy how long ago it was now, 4 years ago, and it was a big projected women's cricket up, I think, because obviously it came people saw it, crowds, all of that sort of thing. But I also think the resources like the ECB and Beth Barrett-Wild and people like that, the amount of time and resources that have been put into women's cricket is just wild. But the 100 is obviously a massive part of that, and the same with this blast, the T20 blast that's happening now. Today the Hampshire girls played at the Oval against Surrey, and then the Hampshire men play at the Oval against Surrey and straight after. It's a very similar vibe to the 100, and it's more chance to just get people in, get eyes on women's cricket, and it's only going to grow it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to ask you a question of who were your inspirations when you were growing up in the cricketing world? Who were you looking up to?
So sad. I don't really. I didn't watch any cricket. I still don't watch loads of cricket. But like, I definitely didn't watch women's cricket because it wasn't really a thing. So I don't have any like. As a child, I don't think I grew up watching anyone. But as I got older and like started becoming around it, like obviously Anya and Catherine were like just ahead of me when I was growing up. So they were the fast bowlers that were there before I came in. And obviously I worked with Anya like really closely in like early days of like early time of my international career. And I'm pretty sure she was pretty influential. And then still Catherine is obviously around now because she was with Natty. So I'd say those two, like, but yeah, growing up, quite sad. And hopefully, like now, like I'm really want, like a big part of my, like, as I am, is to try and be an inspiration to young girls because I don't think I've really had it as much as you would hope it is now.
Yeah, I think I was similar. I actually am going to say Anya as well. But again, mine wouldn't have been until I did watch women's cricket, but I think because I didn't really think of it as a career, I wouldn't necessarily say I was like inspired to be like them because I just didn't really think it was a thing. But then actually, when I got a little bit older, Anya was one of the reasons why England selectors came around, which was amazing because the first time I ever met her was at a Somerset ladies game, and she saw me bowl in the warm up and said she didn't even ask me my name. She just said, "How old are you?" And I was like, 17. And she was like, "Okay." And then just walked off. And I was like, "Oh, this is weird." I was like, "Okay." Yeah. And I didn't know what she did with that information. I literally knew nothing. And then she sort of, like, we just carried on playing with each other. And I found out maybe like 2 years later that England selectors came to our games after that because Anya had said to them that there is a girl in Somerset that you need to watch. And I think she could have like a great potential. And ever since then, she's helped me through loads and sort of always sort of texted me to say well done and all that sort of stuff. So it's really nice to have that sort of someone. But like Benny said, I didn't have that until I was a little bit older. So hopefully now kids can have that from a younger age.
Yeah, that's nice. She did that. There was, I think, Wrighty did earlier this year for the cricket draft. Like players from different teams of who he'd have in his team. Gets to Hampshire. Does he mention me? No.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Who did I say?
Abel and Dawes. Fair enough.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, come on, mate. Also, it's a bit obvious, isn't it? Speaking of the cricket, sorry, this is a slightly different subject. There's this kind of what are they calling it? The Content Creators Cricket Cup or something, and I put us down to play in it. And I think I've been picked because I know someone in one of the teams. I put us both down, but yeah, so that's something that's happening in August.
I would love to know what the Content Creators Cricket Cup consists of.
It's going to be interesting. I don't really know. I don't think there's many. There's certainly not many professional players in it. I think it's literally content creators who like cricket a bit. Cricket badly. Have you seen him on TikTok and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. Right. So I'm not really sure what to expect, Keith. But
you've been picked and I haven't.
Well, I think it means me and you.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that.
Yeah. So that's in August, assuming we're not, training and stuff. Right. So I've got more questions there. Sorry, I've distracted myself there.
Go on.
So we just sort of talked about the 100 and stuff, and obviously, the Ashes is massive. How much do you want to play more Test cricket or not? Because Keith and I are huge fans of red ball, and I imagine as bowlers you enjoy a red duke, don't you?
I know Belly's answer to this.
Oh, is it not?
No, Keith, it's grown on me.
Do you hate it?
Test match cricket for England, like it's great. It is great, but I do like we play it and then we play it again in 6 months' time, and that is great. Tyler might want to play more.
It would be really cool to play more. I love Test match cricket. It's amazing. I feel like you make the best memories on a Test match pitch, whether they're good or bad. But Yeah, no, I also think it probably helped that my first time was in a massive Ashes. So I think that sort of energy that I felt that day, I just get this, I sort of like re-feel it almost every single time I play a test match, which is like, it was amazing. So it would be cool to play more, but I think also we have so much cricket already that it would be quite hard to sort of fit it in and around. I think what they do at the moment with sort of 1 or 2 a year is quite good.
They are special, but I like that's why I like it that way. Like they are special because they don't come around that often, and and it's when it's for England, it's like this is like I do appreciate how special they are, and I enjoy them. And then I as I said.
You're bragging it a bit here. No, fair enough. I think I can imagine. I mean, you must be so proud. I mean, I can imagine it's amazing to put on that England shirt. And you know what I mean? It's I thought it's the highest honour anyone plays cricket can get, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. I'd have thought you're both designed for it though, with your skill set. Do you know what I mean? You got pace, bounce, swing. I thought you'd be loving it.
No, yeah,
I've loved every test match apart from playing in India because the pace and the bounce does not matter because it doesn't do that.
Touche.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We played one in South Africa just before Christmas, and obviously, unfortunately, Crossy was injured, but that meant that me and Filer kind of had the chance to like lead the attack as the seamers, and that was lots of fun. And it was the first win. It was the first time England had won a test in like is it like 10 years or something? Yeah. Which is I know they don't play loads, but like so that was like really like we knew before that no one had won a test match, and we'd gone like was it unbeaten in South Africa? Or, like we were going really well, and we had a really good chance of winning the test, and then. Yeah, like Filer had like an unbelievable spell one day, and then like you had and that was really really fun. That was fun. And we won.
And we also batted together, and that was also quite funny. Not that it lasted very long, but that was good fun too.
Yeah.
What's it like batting with a belly? Because I've seen her 1 or 2 times over the years, just kind of walking into the net, and then I look again, I blink, and she's walking out. We don't really see her back.
She lasts so much longer in the net now than she used to. When I first joined, she would be 10 minutes and then out. But now she does last the whole time. No, it's really fun. I mean, we batted together for a while in Australia. Yeah, and we obviously it wasn't the result we wanted, but we sort of got told by the coaches, like, look, if you're going to get out, we want them to get you out. We don't want you to get out yourself. So I think we both sort of went, right, well, let's just dig in here and actually just try and basically annoy them, and I think we did that quite last as long as possible. And that was actually good fun, and I think we both sort of it was funny. We both sort of played a loose shot, and then we both be like, oh, oops, my bad, sorry about that. And then the next over, Belly would do it, and then she'd be like, oh, sorry, wasn't supposed to do that. And it was it is good fun, and we both sort of see the lighter side of cricket. So actually, when we're batting together, we do tend to enjoy it.
And looking at, I know we were talking just quickly about Test cricket. How do you find playing with the Duke's red ball to the Kookaburra red ball? Have you found any differences?
Have we played with the Kookaburra red ball?
That's what played in the South Africa, I think.
Oh, did we? Oh, well, there you go.
And Australia, you should. I imagine you would have used one.
No, in Oz we had in Oz it was pink. It was pink in Oz. That's
I
should know.
Right, okay.
No,
it was pink.
Yeah, there is quite a big difference, I would say. More on feel actually, because I think the Dukes tend to obviously they swing more, and obviously in English conditions it swings more. And but I would say the Dukes had quite a nice seam, whereas actually the Kookaburra the seam can go flat quite quickly. And yeah, I think we went to wobble. Well, in South Africa, we both went to wobble seam quite early on.
Yeah, they don't shine up. I remember in India. Oh no, we didn't play with the Dukes in India.
That's a weird ball they use in India, isn't it?
I don't know what we played with in India.
SS maybe.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
We
played with all sorts.
They weren't good.
That's what happens when you're as old as me. To be fair, Jesus.
You know your stuff.
How do you find the workload side of it then? Because obviously you played loads of T20, loads of 50 over stuff, and then all of a sudden, you've got this one test match where you're expected to bowl, 15 to 20 overs in a day or whatever. So how's that on the bodies and stuff?
It's
Just as you can imagine it.
Yeah, it's wild. Like
Sure.
body is so, and our workloads are very closely monitored. Like Keith will know how much I've like had to rest, and like they're very monitored. And then suddenly you play a test, and they do build us up to it. But like no one can prepare me to bowl. Like in Oz, we bowled 18 overs in a day. Like no one can prepare. Some weeks I bowl 18 overs in the week, and they're like, all steady on. And then like so yeah, what is it like? Hence you play one, and then you're absolutely like exhausted.
Well, I think the good example is like the first time I played, like when I debuted, I had a slight niggle in my quad maybe 2 weeks before, so I only ended up bowling 15 overs the week before, and then I went from 15 overs to 35 in 3 days.
Yeah.
So I had a 20 over spike in 3 days. So it was like it took its toll. It took me at least a week to recover. I remember Louis sort of saying, "You're not in the T20 squad, mate." And even if you were, I don't think you'd be able to play. And I was like, "You're completely right. You are correct. I couldn't move off the sofa for ages." But no, it does get to you, and I think that's where like recovery, nutrition, all that sort of stuff after the game is like really important, because I mean we, like you said, in the Ashes we both bowled 17, 18 overs in a day, and then the next day we had to go out and bowl again. And I remember that morning I was absolutely nowhere. I think Mace was sort of stood way far back, and the ball bounced about 3 times before it even got to him because of how stiff I was.
And it's day night, so like that one especially, you just forget. You don't realise. Like I'm pretty sure I was getting a massage at midnight, and like because of just like, and you just don't. And then the whole times and everything, but. I feel like adrenaline playing a test match for England, you don't really realise till you finish how tired you are, because you just have so much adrenaline.
Yeah, I can imagine that, to be fair. Then you're the England women, you've got the England men, and you've got baseball and all that sort of stuff. Does that cross over? Are the England women's team expected to have a similar kind of mindset and stuff, or is it completely separate kind of vibe?
It's completely separate, especially now with Lot. Like Lot has a way she wants to play. She loves these KPIs. Like she very much knows how she wants her team to run, and runs her team like that. So yeah, there's next to no.
Yeah,
nothing.
No, I think it might like look like it, because I think obviously we've batted quite well in the last sort of few games, but I think we just want to play to our strengths. That's probably the key thing for us. And if that means that Jonesy hits 100 off 70 balls or whatever it is, then that's what that is. It's not there's no label, there's no baseball, there's nothing like that. It's all it's separate.
You're flying so far this summer, aren't you? How was Grace Road the other day, Leicester? It's dry, isn't it? The outfield's like ridiculous at the minute.
I didn't know what you're talking about. I didn't know where you meant when Grace.
Oh, do you call it the Fisher County Ground?
Just Leicester, isn't it?
Just
Just Leicester.
So that's my age again showing. How did you find Leicester?
Yeah, well, we didn't bowl until because it rained whilst we were, so it actually wasn't too dry. You
enjoyed it. You bowled quick.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously there's a slight slope at Leicester, so I said, please may I have that end, and the wind was coming from that end as well, so
I rolled up the hill into the wind.
Yeah,
terrible life choice.
Did that. White ball, it's a tough gig, that up the hill into the wind.
Whole warm up, sideways wind. I was like, I'm gonna have this end. I start the innings and it just goes straight in my face for my whole opening spell. So that was good. And I went again. Mace was like, "No, Bella, you need to come down the hill." And I was like, "No, Mace, like the wind's going that way. I've got a gut feel coming up the hill." And he was like, "Not often do I go against Mace," but I was like, "No, I've got like a gut feel here that I'm coming up the hill." And I'm pretty sure he was laughing at me on the balcony when the wind changed. I'm like running up this hill.
Yeah, no, it's a decent effort.
I've been there. Me and Wrighty played at Sussex a few years ago, and there was a real strong breeze going down the slope, and I didn't even bother looking. I knew straight away which end Wrighty was going to come from. And to be fair to me, he bowled quick, so I can accept that.
Yeah.
When you get the odd bowler who's like, "I'll come for the top end," and they just don't produce the goods. I think Wrighty had an issue in club cricket a few weeks ago, actually.
Wow, you've just outed me here on the podcast. Unbelievable. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was cross the other week because I was bowling into the wind and someone wasn't bowling very well with it. But that didn't happen in your game, thankfully.
No,
you know what I mean?
fast.
Yeah, that is frustrating when that happens. I know the feeling. When someone doesn't use the wind, I'm like, oh, what is the point?
Yeah, 100%. You've got that responsibility, haven't you? If you're saying, I want the favourable conditions kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Oh, hang on, you probably neither of you will have seen the old changing rooms at Leicester. Have you only seen the new sort of redevelopment?
We did play there a couple of years ago when it was I remember it was really, really hot. We played there, but do you know when you just when all the grounds just feel the same because it doesn't really mean anything to you? Leicester's probably one of those grounds where. Wow. Sorry. I think I've had too many days in Leicester this week, and I'm in a bad mood with Leicester.
No, do you know what? I'm glad for that answer because I could feel the conversation drifting to Wrighty's proud.
The new changing room is really nice. It's nice.
Yeah, the new changing room is nice.
Green, I know you're green, so you can't really change. It's a nice changing room.
While we're on the subject, then, where don't you like and where do you like? What are your favourite grounds and maybe least favourite?
I can tell you what my least favourite is. Chelmsford.
What's your least favourite?
Hate it. Which sounds awful. I've never bowled well there, ever.
Small.
And I think, I made my debut. Weirdly, I made my professional debut there, and the first over, I think I got 2 wickets and 2 balls, and then I got hit for 24 in the next 10 balls, and I said, I don't like it. It's awful. And I've never forgiven it. I've held a grudge against that ground ever since, as you can tell.
Yeah.
It is small. I imagine the change rooms are the same as they have always
They're
been.
in a marquee now.
Yeah, we're in a marquee.
The home
What is that? Even as the home team?
Yeah, the home team's in a tent. Has been since COVID. They've not changed it.
Yeah, I mean that says it all, doesn't it? Anyone listening from Australia or something like that, they'll be like, "What?"
Yeah.
The food is good there, though. That is one thing I'll give it to them.
Oh yeah, the food was nice. I like playing at the Oval. That's always fun, especially for England. Playing for England at the Oval, we get a good crowd, and at home. I like the Utilita because the crowd. It's so sweet. They're very biased.
Friendly.
Well, don't you think, Keith? They're quite they really, really don't like the away team. Like when I play for the Brave or whatever down there, they're very loyal to supporting us.
Yeah, they are very loyal. I would agree with that. And they're very friendly, but I don't feel as though they from being at Warwickshire fans could be quite aggressive.
Yeah,
right.
That's fair.
So I'd see Hampshire fans and Brave quite friendly, and they may not really like the opposition, but they're still friendly to the opposition.
I think they just love their team rather than trying to hate on the other team. They just love it, which is nice because that's so. I like playing at home.
Do they need to spend a bit of money on the changing rooms now at the Utilita?
There's chats, I think.
There is chat, but also Chris, I forgot to say. Oh no, you'd have seen. I posted it. See the steps.
Oh the stairs.
Yeah.
What's happened?
They've put little Astro so your spikes don't get ruined.
That's
about
a good
time.
Idea.
Fallen down them stairs 5 times.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Imagine being Keith, how dangerous those stairs were. Sorry, that's my shot back.
If we go into back to bowling a little bit, obviously, Lauren F, you were talking about injury and having to change 1 or 2 things. Belly, you had to change your action slightly, didn't you? Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, pretty much. Changed my whole bowling basically. It was post Ashes, however long, 2 years ago now. I sat down with Mason Louis and they were like, "How we want you to be the best seamer in the world. How are we going to do it?" And I was like, "Great question." And we basically decided that I needed to be safe so that I had less back issues, could play more cricket, and then get faster, get more bounce. And to do that, it was to be like more upright in my action. I was also massive in swing, and I was very to the side. So I worked with Mace on, initially it was just to keep my back foot, like my foot behind on the floor. And so I'd be more upright. And then that obviously led to my arm then being more up, and then the ball would shape away. And then it was quite a while, wasn't it? It was about 8 months of like I was doing this whilst playing international cricket, and I really wanted to keep playing international cricket, but there was a lot. When you do a technical change, it's all you can think about when you're bowling. And when you're bowling in a game, the last thing you want to think about is your technique. But I'm glad I stuck with it, because I've kind of come out the other side now and got like my success from this change. But yeah, now I obviously
Who have you got? Visitors?
We do have visitors. It's okay.
We've got Lindsay Smith.
She's just dropping her washing off.
Where are you, in a team room, or is that like a?
Yeah, our rooms are very dark, so we have to.
So now, I shape the ball differently, but I'm in no pain. I'm a bit quicker. I get more bounce, and in time, I will bring back bowling in swinger, doing it, but like we're just going in stages at the moment, and I feel in a really good place. And I said to Mace, I was like, it'd be nice to just be in a good place for a while, and then so yeah.
Do you find yourself more threatening going away from the bat now, or do you find you were more threatening when you were going in?
I think when I get to a stage where, I swing the ball away and I can nip the ball in. So I think moving the ball both ways is more threatening than at the top level against Australia, is more threatening than just bowling in swing. Because when I just bowled in swing, if someone got hold of it and worked me out, there was nowhere to hide. That was me. I just had to keep doing it and hoping that. Whereas now I've got options, and like in the Ashes, I had the ability to move the ball both ways, and so I couldn't get lined up, and it felt like they struggled how to play me, because obviously I could swing it away and nip it in, and if I can then bring back an in swinger as well, feel like I'm more threatening, and just less. I've got more options basically at the highest level.
Another question for you, Belly. Do you still have your little minions running around getting everything for you, or have they got a look off?
My minions?
Yeah, there was a phase, right? Every time I go to the utility, it'd be like, Belly's bowling. That I'll mitt for her, and there'd be just some random guy just literally like wherever she went, he'd be with her, either having a camera or like a walk bowl or something just to assist her.
I think, Mace was not a minion.
Not Mace.
No, I don't know, Keith. No.
Oh. Do you not remember, especially in the 100? There was in the 100.
I mean, in the 100, yeah. It's more like they just like to get content, don't they?
Is it an ECB related thing?
Probably, yeah. You're probably talking about some cameraman following me around, and that's. I don't have minions though.
Keith's got you.
To
be fair, that's pretty cool. Going back to that conversation with, it's John Lewis, isn't it? John and Mason, and being like that open and I guess direct, isn't it? It's quite, you know what I mean? Just being straightforward. How do you become the best?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not easy to do.
Yeah, and they had so much confidence in me, and I owe so much to Louis, and Mason's obviously still around. They backed me, and they saw potential, and they just backed me and had so much confidence. But I didn't want to be stagnant, and I probably could have kept bowling in swing and been fine for a few more years at international cricket, but it probably wasn't going to be what would make me the best in the world. And I mean, you want to be the best in the world, don't you? You want to just keep getting better. So, yeah. But no, it was a bit emotional. There was a lot of tears.
Well, to work on that whilst playing international cricket, that sounds hard. Oh,
yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Fraser.
I'm trying to think that I'm doing the right thing, even though I've been a successful international bowler and I've changed something and now I'm struggling. I'm trying to go, no, this is the right thing to do. And then I'm there playing international cricket with media seeing me bowl badly and being like, what the hell is she doing? Like, it was so hard, which is why Louis and Mace was so amazing, because they just kept giving me the confidence that we were going in the right direction. And then I had a series before Christmas and the Ashes where I felt like everything came together. And suddenly everyone was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, what a change Lauren Bell's made. And I was like, okay, this is what the last 12 months were for. Yeah.
How have you found the media side of things? Obviously, the England women's team is a really good team, but obviously it was a tough winter, and I guess any Ashes tour is high profile, isn't it? And was it Aussie media were particularly harsh? But obviously, it seems like as a team, you just come out the other side and started the summer really well, which is all you can do.
Yeah. I mean, the media have got to do a job. At the end of the day, they're there to do a job, and they're there to comment on what they see. And if that's what they see, that's what they see. But we know as a team where our faults lied and where we needed to improve. And I think over the last sort of couple of months, we've come together as a group and sort of realised that, noticed that, and actually try to make change and not get involved in the media side too much, because realistically they don't know everything. They don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They don't know, like, for example, the fitness stuff. They don't know any of that. That is just they've seen what they've seen, and they've just made an assumption on it. And I think from our point of view, we've just worked really hard on what we think is important, and I think that's sort of come out in our cricket, where obviously we knew that our fielding wasn't great in the Ashes and we needed to improve on that, and I think we've sort of shown that that's what we've tried to do. And even playing more county cricket has really helped us. I think just being more around cricket in general and almost being like the highest of the team of each player going to their county and trying to perform and being in the best fielding positions they can be, and sort of like bowling at the top level and batting 1, 2, 3, all that sort of stuff is probably just helped kick us on as a team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, though, especially with the media. They have got a job to do. And, you know, it's almost like the wilder the story, the more, like, clicks they'll get. It's one of those, like, no one's interested in the truth and the line's more interesting. Like, and that's something that always seems to happen. I think as long as you lot stay together, like you are doing, you'll come through it.
We didn't perform, and we all know that. Yeah. And it was obviously horrible. Like, the media was not nice, but we're a close team, and we reflected, and we all got out of Australia and came home. And just this summer's obviously been pretty like blank slate for us all.
I think what bugs me about, well, it's cricket in general, is I feel like that it should be really tough to go to Australia and play in their conditions and win. And it should be really tough when you go to India to adapt to Indian conditions. In the same way, they should find it really hard coming here and the ball swinging more and all of this sort of stuff. It's what makes cricket good. And it's not the end of the world, is it? Do you know what I mean? When you lose. Like the men lost. When did the men lose? A few years before. Then all of a sudden, the county championship started using kookaburra balls, changing the points for draws, and all. You know what I mean? It was like the end of the world. All the rules changed.
Like going to Australia and playing in Australia against Australians is hard. Like, I don't think you can.
You also, against a team like that, if you lose more than one game, they're just a team that just keep digging deep and know how to win. And I think they're a really hard team to get off that track. We knew that we had a chance in Melbourne where we obviously didn't perform like we should have, and we should have won that game. But they proved that they could then win in a position where they really shouldn't have. And I think that's credit to them. That's how they are one of the best teams in the world, that they know how to win and they know how to keep winning. Even when they're put in a position where they probably shouldn't. And I think, like you say, if it was in England, we would obviously have had a bit more of an advantage, but we weren't, and we didn't perform, and that's just how it is. Like you say,
we'll get another go.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, and we keep going.
Absolutely. And how was Mace? Because obviously he's an Aussie, isn't he? I don't know What was he? Was
I
he
think
kind
he's
of?
pretty English through and through now, to be honest.
He says he's Irish.
He's Irish,
basically.
yeah.
Jesus. And how have you been getting on working with him generally? Is he? I mean, on my experience, I had him for 1 year, and he's a really, really top fella. And I don't know how long he's been in the role coaching you, because he was with Perth, wasn't he? Moved back over.
Just before me, so
years.
just over 2 years.
Just over. He would have started in October, so
2.5.
2.5 years. Yeah, almost 3 years.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. I mean, I get on with him really well. We're very, very similar personality-wise, so I think sometimes that works well, and then sometimes it doesn't. We kind of sometimes not necessarily clash, but we know when we're annoying each other because we do exactly the same thing. But no, I've really enjoyed working with him, and I think he's honest, but it's not brutal, and I think that's sometimes what you need, especially when you're playing. You don't need someone to tell you you're doing rubbish. You sort of need a look. This is the way to go. This is what I'm thinking, and he's really good at that with me anyway. Especially just like noticing what I need at the right time, and the technical changes that I have done with him over the last couple of months I've really enjoyed, and I think that's where you've got a good coach, is when you're sort of, even when you're changing stuff and it can be quite frustrating, you're still enjoying making the change.
Yeah, we sort of skimmed probably quite quickly past it earlier, but you said you had a knee injury. So what exactly was the injury, and then what technical changes have you made? And I'm assuming the technical changes to help the knee, or
they kind of don't help the knee.
Okay.
It's not a direct help for the knee, but it's,
right.
So the technical changes was actually because after the Ashes, my back wasn't great, and
right.
It was actually to change. So similar to Belly, where she was sort of like leaning over this way, I was doing this and almost like crushing half of my back. And I think I was getting to the point where it was pretty unsafe. Nothing major, but just not good for it. And so we sort of slowed it down, realised that actually when I come off a shorter run up, I don't do that, and I get into all these great positions. And then when I come off my full run, I stride too far basically. So I was like really long at the crease, which meant obviously when I don't brace my front leg, so when my front leg lands, it sort of almost doesn't collapse because I'm strong enough to get over it, but it goes too far forward. So then I'm almost just, I have to go that way, otherwise my knee would like dislocate. So we ended up trying to work out how I could implement what I was doing in a short format of my run into a longer version, because obviously trying to run off 4 steps, trying to bowl 75 miles an hour isn't going to work. So we just tried loads of different things, hurdles. It was awful. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. And then I got to a point where I was like, I don't understand how this is going to work. I'm supposed to be playing in 5 days' time. How am I supposed to run in if I can't even do this? And Mace just turned to me and said, just run in as fast as you can. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, just do it. He's like, you can do your funny little walk at the start. That's fine. But as soon as you hit the point where you start running, I want you to run in as fast as you can, and then we'll just measure it. And if you land in the same place, we'll measure it. And I did that, and it felt great. And my positions were better than they were before, and everything just sort of felt more natural. I was absolutely blowing because I obviously hadn't bowled for 6 weeks, and then I had added 2 more meters onto my run up as well. So it was ended up being quite a big change of length. So it was hard, but it was good, and it hopefully in turn might help my knee, because I do land slightly. I land like this now, whereas before my back foot landed a bit sort of twisted, which obviously would then sort of twist my knee. So yeah, it was a challenge in the first game that I played. So I played the development game against the West Indies, and I bowled up the hill at or up the slope slightly at Canterbury, and I felt like I got the yips, and I couldn't do it. And within one training session, I got it again. And I think, it feels really, really good now. And I don't think I'd be able to go back to my old run up.
I think when you're young, what happens, like run up wise, you always end up adding a few extra steps on, and your run up gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then as you get older, you get more because you bowl so much, it just starts to get shorter and shorter and shorter.
Trust me, I was against making it longer. I said, I don't think it needs to be any longer. And they were like, no, just try it. And I was like, oh, okay. But I do this stupid walk at the start that I tried to get rid of. And Mace was like, why don't you just turn around? And as soon as you turn around, you just run. I couldn't do it. I don't know what it is. I've got this weird thing with this walk that I have to do. So I basically have to do that. And that's 2 meters long. So then I just ended up having to add another bit so then I could almost have more frequent strides and not as far, basically.
Fair play. That sounds pretty cool, to be fair. I'm amazed that you both made these changes whilst playing top level cricket. That scares the life out of me.
You don't really have a choice if you want to play international cricket. We don't get like a training block really, because it's always just like you're playing or you're resting or you're playing, because like we go from, and like we're in a series now, we'll have a rest, we'll play some blast, we'll go into India, we'll have a rest, we'll play the 100, we'll have a rest, we'll go to India, we'll play the World Cup, we'll have a rest, we'll hopefully, like, do you know what I mean? So it's, if you want to make changes and play cricket, like you can obviously choose to not play, but everyone just wants to play cricket. So
you should,
it's one of those things where you have to do it. It's terrifying. It's why you need good coaches around you, I guess.
What's your favourite time of year to be playing? Like, is it the 100? Is it this period now? What would you say?
Big England series. So like this England series is great, but when India come over, I think that will be like the highlight. Like we're playing proper ground. Not that Leicester's not a proper ground.
What?
Not that it's not a proper ground.
Killing me.
Grounds. Save myself. Like the Oval, like Edgbaston, and obviously India will have like big crowds, and they're often quite Indian fans. So yeah, I think any big series in England is probably my favourite.
Yeah, I agree. Like July time is usually when we have, we have 5 T20s and 3 ODIs usually. Well, that's what they've done the last couple of years, and it's been really cool. So yeah, no, I agree with that.
That's awesome. Hey, and look, we've kept you now for nearly an hour. So before we wrap up, is there maybe a bit of advice each that you give to any listeners, or advice you maybe give to your younger self? You know, like the 18-year-old version of you.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, I would just say have fun and just keep enjoying it, and if you get an opportunity, take it, but don't put too much pressure on yourself that it's going to be make or break. Just enjoy it and make the most of all your debuts and everything that is going to come, I'd say.
I would say you can't please everyone you meet, so don't try to, because you're never going to be able to. Just keep working at it and being yourself.
I love that. Do you read, either of you, or not? I mean books.
I do. I love reading. I'm in my personal development era.
Yeah. Have you read The Courage to be Disliked?
No, I haven't. I'm reading the Let Them theory at the moment. Heard of that one?
Yes. Is it Mel Robbins or something?
Yeah.
Would I like it or not? Good.
Well, do you know what?
You don't know me well enough to answer that, do you? To be fair.
No, I just think I don't need much more developing, and like I'm just reading it, and I'm like, no, I'm really happy. Like, people know how happy I am, so I'm just reading these books. Like, what do you mean? Find it hard to get up in the morning, like.
Yeah, no, but yeah, to be fair, yeah, that sounds. I
enjoy them, and I think I just need to find a few. What was the one you said? Because I'm here for a recommendation.
The Courage to be Disliked, but based on what Lauren F has said, you would like this, and you can read it in 2 days.
Yeah, you should give that a go.
Didn't you read a little bit clickbaity, the title. It's not like literally about that, but it's about. Yeah, it's cool. I won't spoil it, but it's a very good read.
Okay, I might give it a 1.
Cool. Right, Barks is laughing. Is this a good time to wrap up then?
This is a good time to wrap up, yeah.
Great. Do you have to do an ends trailer, or are we done?
No. I haven't got two in me, I'm afraid. I'll just thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you're making the effort from the Holiday Inn in Taunton, and you could be doing much better things.
So much doing.
Yeah, so thanks for that. And yeah, look, we'll this will be on our Thursday in a week or so. So
Cool.
we'll send you a copy if you want to check it out. And yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See you later.
Take it easy. But
Yeah.
thanks very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you haven't yet, please leave us a review. We'd really appreciate that. And we also obviously have a membership on Patreon and on Apple Podcasts. So if you like the content we're providing, then sign up for that and you get extra episodes. But for now, we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Cheers, guys. Bye.